Hi, everybody, and good evening. Welcome to our very first Twitch live stream for our intro psych class. This is my 8-week class that just started a couple of days ago on Monday. I know a few of you were logged in and joined me on accident for my other class, which is ending this week, but this one is for 55502, which is going on as of this week. So, hello. Somebody wrote Patriots. I love it, right? I love the Patriots. Well, I think I used to love the Patriots, but anyway, can you all hear me just fine? Is everything coming through okay? Can you hear and see me? Everything okay on your end? This is Twitch, by the way. If you've never been on here before, you can communicate with me through the chat. If you have questions at any point or comments or anything that you want to share with me, please feel free to put it there, and I am monitoring on my phone and will answer anything that you put on there. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much for letting me know. The more you interact with me, the better it is. I can't see you, but I appreciate those of you who are here with me live and chiming in the chat. So my name is Elisa Setmire. I am your instructor for this 8-week class, and what I want to do, go Broncos. That's fine, right? I'm ready for football season. I haven't looked up how many days. Someone should tell me how many days we have left till football, but I am very ready. I'm a huge football fan, if you've read through the mandatory orientation stuff already. But what I want to do tonight is just kind of go through our Canvas page a little bit, make sure that you know where everything is. I'll talk a little bit about the ebook. We'll talk about what's expected, how you can get a hold of me, kind of everything that is going on with the course. We'll go over some elements of the syllabus. If you have any questions, this is a wonderful time to ask me because I can answer them live. I will let you know that I am obviously at home. I have 4 cats and they are all in the room with me, so if any of them come close enough, I'll scoop them up and share them with you. And they may make appearances, and hopefully not my children. They should be asleep by now. And we won't normally have this late. I'm sorry that it's at 9 o'clock tonight. It will normally be at 8, which hopefully will be a little more accessible for all of you. And yes, preseason, not too far away. I am definitely looking forward to it. Yes, so all of our sessions will be via Twitch. I like Zoom. Of course, it's a very easy platform, but Twitch is just kind of a popular, fun thing. We obviously won't be playing video games, sadly, which is usually what Twitch is used for. But I will be using Twitch for these live streams, and I will try to hold one every week. They might, typically will be on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Some weeks they might change a little bit depending on if I go on a trip or if something comes up with my kids and their softball schedule and so on. But I will always announce that and let you know. And hopefully it will give a good opportunity for me every week to kind of give you some reminders and give you a chance to ask any questions you might have. And this one will be the longest one by far because we're going over the class. After this week, they'll be pretty short and sweet, like 30 minutes or so, but this one will probably be a little bit longer. So let's go ahead and head over to Canvas, and we'll take a look at our page. We'll take a look at the syllabus and all of that kind of stuff. If you have made it to here, that is an excellent start. There's a lot of information on this page, and I just kind of want to walk you through it a little bit. There's a little description, some announcements, a link to the ebook site, which I'll talk a little bit more about later. And then there's a spot right here that says Start Here. So hopefully, now we're just, someone said, did I miss anything? We're just getting going now. Thank you for joining us. And it will be recorded. I will always be recording these so you can watch them later. If you have to go for some reason or if you can't make it live, you'll be able to watch it. And I'll show you where those will be posted as well. Okay, so what you can do is if you click here where it says Start Here, it will give you a link right to the mandatory orientation materials. And you can even, no worries, it kind of looks like a smiley face, right? If you scroll up, you can see there's a lot of materials here like the syllabus, a little welcome letter that I sent out on Monday, textbook information, some stuff about purchasing the book, frequently asked questions. I have a lot of kind of resources that are on here that you can take a look at. And then we also have the orientation, which is a great place to begin. So I think what I'll do is I will start here with the syllabus, and I'm not going to go over everything, but I do want to highlight a few things for you. And again, if you have questions at any point, feel free to ask. Will we earn extra credit every time we join a stream or just today? So typically what will happen, and I'll talk more about this later, is to earn the extra credit, you have to do 2 things. So first you have to join me live, Or if you are subscribed, you can watch it later and I will still be able to see that you watched it. So you can subscribe and watch it later, or you can join me live. And if you're subscribed, you don't need to put your name in the chat because it does give me a list of people who are here. And then what I will do is I will give you an extra credit question during the stream that you will answer on Canvas. And I'll show you where to answer that. And I'll give you the first one a little bit later today. And that will be every single week. So you do definitely have the opportunity for, I think that's 16 points of extra credit, which would make up for a missed discussion or maybe a low exam score. And I hope you all do take advantage of that because I think that is a nice little buffer to have. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Thank you for the question. I love it. And thank you for those of you joining and putting your name in the chat. So here's the syllabus, and let's take a look at a couple of things. It has the course title and all of that. My name is Elisa Setmire. You can call me Elisa. You can call me Setmire. You can call me Professor Setmire. Dr. Setmire is a lie, but it's a nice one. I don't have a doctorate. But most people just call me Elisa or Professor Setmire. Any of those things are fine. I gave you my email. That is always the best way to get a hold of me. I do have a phone number at my office, but I'm not on campus over the summer, so email is always going to be best. Someone said, got it, so our name's being typed in and we get a question to answer. Yes. So type your name in. You are actually subscribed, so you don't even need to type your name in because I will have a list and your name will be on it. So perfect. There's some information about the description of the class, how to get a hold of the administrative assistant or dean or department chair, should you need that information, some objectives and outcomes. I'm going to let you look over all that on your own. I want to talk a little bit about the textbook. I know that textbooks are expensive. Trust me, I've gone through many years of school. The textbook for this class, I believe, is $87, and it is an ebook that you need to purchase. Hopefully you have already purchased it, as there is a requirement that needed to be done by this evening at midnight. I'll talk more about that in a bit. But it is a book that I wrote, which I think is fun. We'll see if you think so as well. It's called Psyched. The cover looks just like this. And because I wrote it, I was able to control at least somewhat of the price of it. In my abnormal psychology class, the textbook is $274. So $87, I know that seems expensive, but it's actually really, really reasonable for a psychology text. Unfortunately, you do need it. You need it for all the exams. You need it for all the materials. You will use it a lot. So if you haven't purchased it already, make sure you do that immediately, as you do need it right away. If you can't purchase the book, there are a lot of classes that offer zero cost textbooks, and it says so in the course catalog, and you could always consider taking a different one. I completely understand if you can't do it, but sadly, expensive books are just a part of college, right? It shouldn't be, but it is nonetheless. So you do need to get the book. It's the 4th edition. I'll show you where that link is to purchase it in a moment. There's also the recommendation to download the Canvas app or the Twitch app, since I do use Twitch every week, and Canvas is where the course is located. And then you obviously need internet, since it is a internet or online course. I gave you some kind of computer and system requirements. Generally, if you have a computer within the last 5 years, it's going to work just fine. You want to have good internet, and make sure that you have software that allows you to play like audio and video, ideally YouTube and Twitch as well. And those things will help make the class a little bit smoother. I really want this to be a super inclusive class. I want everyone to feel comfortable sharing in the discussions, participating in the chats on here. So please try to always be really mindful and respectful of each other so that we can have a nice, safe, inclusive class environment. I have a pretty strict policy about late work and makeups, and I'll talk about this throughout tonight, but the class is organized in 2-week segments. So basically what will happen is you have access to 2 weeks of materials at a time. And with this being a summer class, I thought it might be nice to have a little more flexibility. I know several of you are probably going on trips. I was in Hawaii yesterday, so I just got back from Oahu. And that's the wonderful thing about teaching online, is that we do have that flexibility to do it from anywhere. And so what I wanted to give you was 2 weeks of material at a time. So you have 2 weeks to complete all of the content. Once the deadline for those 2 weeks passes, it is too late to turn in any materials. So be really aware of and mindful of the deadlines. You have a lot of time to complete stuff. So if you know that you're going to be busy next week, get everything. No invite to Hawaii, right? I wish I could go back. It was so nice to be there. If you know you're going to have a busy week next week, make sure that you get everything done this week, or vice versa. If something comes up and you have an emergency, or there's some kind of event that is out of your control, please feel free to email me. If you email me before the weekly deadline, I am more than willing to work with you and give you an extension if you need to. But if you email me 1 minute after the deadline, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, it's too late and you've missed it. That is like my one hard and fast rule that I always hold to. If something comes up, you must email me before the deadline for there to be any consideration of an extension. And I'm very flexible, as long as, even if it's 11:58 p.m., I will still work with you. But if it's 12:01, it will be too late. So yes, the deadlines are Sunday night at 11:59 p.m., 2 weeks at a time. So not this Sunday, but Sunday the 25th is the end of the first 2 weeks. So all of the materials for weeks 1 and 2 are due by the end of that deadline. Okay? Perfect. So I have some stuff on here too about other policies for the campus. Please don't copy or cheat. There are a lot of you in this class. There's about 84 of you. But please make sure you're giving me your own unique and wonderful work. It's going to be perfect and I love it. Don't copy or cheat. There are harsh consequences for those things. There's some stuff about smoking and Title IX as well. In terms of your grade is made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different elements. The first one is a short orientation quiz, which I'll be talking about once we're done with this. And that is due by tonight at 11:59 p.m. Tomorrow, what I will do is I will grade all of those and bring them over into Canvas. You may have noticed that when you take a graded assignment in the ebook site, it does not come over to Canvas automatically. Don't worry. What happens is once the deadline has passed, I go over and then I bring those scores over manually. I wish it came over automatically, but it doesn't. So make sure that you do complete that orientation by tonight, just before midnight, or you will receive an email from me tomorrow with a drop warning that you must respond to or you will be dropped from the class. So make sure that you get on that right away. That's just to make sure that you have logged in, that you're going, you have your book, and you have everything in order. A big part of your grade is made up of discussions. Every week you will do 2 discussions. So those are making up a lot of points. And there were 15 points each. I'll talk about and show you what those look like in a little bit. There are a couple of little short self-assessments that you'll do throughout the class. Just a chance to kind of reflect on your effort and progress and grades. They're each worth 5 points. They're very brief, but that is one other graded element. There'll be a closing assignment during the final week where you'll reflect back over the course of the semester. We'll talk about that later. And then there will be 4 exams worth 75 points each. These will be taken on the ebook site, so there's one every 2 weeks, and you will always have a study guide. I will always give you some tips and suggestions. You get 1 attempt at these, so make sure that you're ready and organized and ready to go before you begin. And I have lots of little suggestions to share about that, which I will talk about next week when we're talking about week number 2. I will tell you about the optional Twitch extra credit. Usually I give the question out kind of toward the end, and then I will show you where you can answer that. So that is coming a little bit later. Yep, I will definitely bring it up. And thank you so much for helping each other and answering each other's questions. That is amazing as well, and I will take it. Thank you so much. So those elements together make up your grade. The study guides are already available for you. I'll show you that when we look at week number 1 and 2, but they are available as of right now. So you can always start preparing a little bit at a time. Not a bad idea to prepare chapter by chapter, right? Then it's not so overwhelming. And the exams are mainly multiple choice, true, false, and matching. There's no short answer. It's all multiple choice, true, false, and matching. And again, I will talk a lot more about the exam next week since it's technically in week number 2. We'll focus on 1 week at a time on the live streams, but they're typically going to be in the 70 question range. So you have about a minute per question. So definitely important to study and prepare, but they're very straightforward. If you're reading and studying, you will do well on them. They're not tricky in any way. And again, you will always have a study guide so you know exactly what to prepare. Okay. And again, I promise I will talk a lot about the exam next week to make sure that you feel good about exam number 1, as good as you can. And again, my intent with the exams is just to make sure that you are reading, never to punish you. If you all got A's on the exam, I would be thrilled. So hopefully you will feel good about them. The study guide will have everything that you need to know on the exam, right? So it's basically all the terms and concepts that you need to know, and then the exams will have the questions about those terms and concepts. So if you look at these items, that adds up to these points. So there's the little grade distribution right there. Yep, of course. And then if you have a memo with access, make sure that you email me or have them email it to me so I can get you all set up. They can send that over to me, or you can have them send it over. That way I can make sure you have whatever accommodations you need. These live streams are obviously not captioned. If that's something that you really do need, we can make some accommodations through access to have that happen. So make sure you let me know. I've given you a bunch of information about student tech support, some college information links, and then after that, it's just week by week by week, right? Kind of outlining for you what we'll be doing each week, what is due, what your readings are, and so on. Yep. Thank you so much, right? You beat me to it. Yes, they are already out, and I will show you where you can find those when we get to the modules in a little bit. Okay. Just kind of working my way through. So hopefully I will answer most of your questions by the end. If I don't, feel free to ask again. Okay. So again, every chunk of the class, you have 2 weeks at a time. So right now, as of Monday, we are in weeks 1 and 2. So the deadline for the first 2 weeks is 6/25, Sunday, 6/25. And for these first 2 weeks, you'll have 4 chapters. You'll have 4 discussions, a little orientation quiz that's due tonight, and exam number 1. And generally what you'll see is that every 4 weeks, or every 2 weeks, I'm sorry, you have 4 chapters, 4 discussions, and an exam. Sometimes a little assessment, 4 chapters, 4 discussions, an exam, assessment, right? So it's very similar format. Hopefully that helps you to keep things kind of consistent and memorable. I've been teaching online for a very long time now, so I know consistency is really important. I'm a very meticulously organized person, and I hope that makes things very clear. And somebody just subscribed with Prime, thank you. I'll go over this later, but those of you who are subscribed, it saves me so much time in matching your name with your username on Twitch. So I really greatly appreciate it. And there's also a lot of benefits to you as well, which I'll go over a little later. So if you're able to figure that out, please do not pay for it. I don't want you giving me money, but if you can do this for free with your Prime subscription, that would be really, really helpful. And I'll show you where those instructions are to do that for free later. I feel like I've said that a lot. I'm sorry. I'll show you later, but I promise it's all coming. So here you can see all of the weeks. There's a little statement here at the bottom about COVID. I know that things are still a little bit, not quite what they used to be, but it's getting more and more normal. Again, if something ever comes up, please reach out to me. I am here. I am a person. I understand. As long as you reach out to me before the deadline, I'm totally willing to work with you on whatever comes up. Okay, so that is the syllabus, and I know I didn't go over everything, but I just wanted to highlight a few things. Underneath that, if you didn't see it, here's a little bit of like a welcome letter that I sent out. Let's talk about the textbook just a little more. Here's some information about purchasing the textbook. If you click on this link here, again, the book is called Psyched, and it's something that I wrote. It's a new edition that just came out this year. Here's the link to purchase it. So if you click on that, it'll take you directly to the ebook site. Again, it's $87. And when you purchase this, they will send you a registration code, like an access code by email, and that will allow you to link this book to this class. So you'll set that up, and once you have it all set up, I do have the link to it on our homepage right here so that you can easily access it moving forward. So once you create your account and log in and link it to our class, it should be pretty easy from there. So make sure you get that. If you haven't already, you do need it immediately. Here's some more information about purchasing, registering, and accessing the ebook if you're having a hard time with it. I made a little video overview of our course if you're still feeling confused after this. I did record kind of an overview if you need a little bit more help. I also have some frequently asked questions that I've compiled here on this. I know it's a spring class, but it's the same. The best way to get a hold of me, where do I go to get started, something's not showing up. I have everything on here, just things that people have asked me repeatedly. You'll also notice that I've recorded it, so if you'd like to listen to my voice, you can always do that as well. Do I need the book? How do I succeed on exams and discussions? All of that is just extra resources to help you. The link redirect you to the book you need. So once you purchase the book through this link that I just, this one here that I just showed you, the link is on our course homepage. So it's right here, and it'll be in the email they send you as well. But here's the link to the ebook site once you have purchased it. And there's only one book. You only need the one book. So there's only two sites that you'll be using, Canvas and the ebook site. And that's it. So as long as you have the ebook and Canvas, you should be in really good shape. Okay. A few other little resources on here. I did make a little student lounge if you'd like to talk to each other. It's kind of like an open discussion forum. You can talk to each other on here and answer and ask each other's questions if you would like. Ask and answer each other's questions. Here is an important page that might be helpful. Yeah, if you bookmark it, then you'll have it forever. I have it bookmarked up here as well, along with a bunch of fantasy football links, right? But here's my, it's bookmarked on mine as well. So this page right here, I just want to take a few moments to go over. Subscribing to my Twitch and YouTube channels. If you haven't noticed already, I use a lot of YouTube videos, and I will be using Twitch every week. So I would really recommend, and you don't have to do this, but it will make your life easier, and mine, selfishly a little bit. But find me on YouTube and subscribe, and find me on Twitch and subscribe if you can. Okay, now what I put on here is if you do subscribe on Twitch, what that means is you don't need to put your name in the chat each week. You can just sign in, right? Because it will give me a list of people who are here. You won't have ads other than maybe one at the beginning. I can't stand the ads. They drive me nuts. They are completely gone if you are subscribed. You can privately chat with me during live streams. You get a football cake next to your name. Football and cake are two of my favorite things in life, so I made a football cake. And then you get a lot of notifications. Selfishly, as I said, because there are 84 of you in this class, when you are subscribed, I can just download your names, and it saves me a ton of time, and I'm really, really grateful to those of you who do it. Please don't pay for this, but what I did here is if you have Amazon or anyone in your family has Amazon Prime, you can link your Amazon Prime and Twitch accounts together by following the steps that I have here, and I laid it out for you step by step. And then I gave you a video at the end. Look, somebody just did it. But if you can, please don't pay for this. I don't want you to spend any more money than you have to. But the other advantage that I didn't mention is that if you aren't able to join these live, if you watch them later on Twitch, if you're subscribed, I still see that you watched it. So you can still get the extra credit for answering those questions on Canvas. And those points do add up. I know you really would like to get them. And there are plenty of people who aren't able to make the time at night for whatever reason. So if you're able to subscribe, it also will take care of that for you as well. Okay. Yes, I will talk more about the exams. Yeah, and what you might want to do is type out the study guide. And again, I'll talk a lot more about the exams next week. So maybe just hold off on that for the moment. But yes, they're open notes, they're open book. And I would really recommend using the study guide, which I'll go over next week for you in detail, I promise. Right? Ooh, a cat. Right? Oh my God, this is my favorite cat. This is Rolly. He's my two-hander. He's named Rolly after 101 Dalmatians because he's such a big guy. But this is my favorite cat. He's so sweet, right? I love him so much, right? And I'm so glad that he came over, right? You love cats too, right? I don't know if any of you are big like TikTok fans, but we always follow, is it Mason and Cooter? And Cooter passed away this week. It was so sad. I was in Hawaii and I just wanted to get home to my cats because I felt so bad for him. But yeah, there's a lot of homeless cats lurking around. I want to adopt them all, but I already have 4, so I probably shouldn't adopt anymore. Oh no, not my cat, not my cat. but it was a cat on TikTok, a very famous cat named Cooter, right? It was so sad for him. No, my cats are okay, right? Thankfully for now. They're hyper and they're here, but they're okay. Anyway, sorry, not to distract you with cats, right? It just, he was right there. I couldn't not grab him. So a few other things on here. There's some help with technology. If you're struggling, there's some technology help. There's more about Canvas. There's some stuff about finding your grades, services for students, and psych major information. So there is a lot of stuff here if you're struggling. You can always email me, but if you're confused or struggling, reach out and read through these things, and hopefully they will be helpful. The other big thing to read through is that mandatory orientation stuff. So here's the link to that lecture and a little quiz and an introduction discussion to help me get to know you a little bit. So let's take a look at this lecture and then we'll take a look at the ebook site. So what we have here is, and you'll see this with every lecture I give you, there's like a little 5-tab format. And at the top, you can always listen to it if you would like, if you miss the sound of my voice. But what this tells you is kind of an overview of what you'll have. You're going to listen to or read the subsequent pages, read through the syllabus, which we looked at briefly together. You'll complete the quiz, which is on the ebook site, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Find me on YouTube and Twitch, as we just talked about, and here are those instructions. The second page is a little bit about how the course is organized. So again, you have 2 weeks of material at a time. You'll have 4 chapters to read every 2 weeks. So 2 chapters a week. You're going to read the chapters. You'll read through the lectures. You'll watch the lecture videos. There'll be 2 discussions every week, 1 exam every 2 weeks, some self-assessments, and a closing assignment, right? So we're going to follow a very similar format every week, as we talked about with the syllabus. There's a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Elisa Setmire. I've been at Moore Park College now for about 13 years. I'm a huge football fan. Brady is my guy. This is going to be my first football season in a lot of years without him, so I'm going to be sad. But I'm huge on Patrick Mahomes as well, and I'm a big fantasy football fan. So I have lots of other people that I follow, which will help. I love escape rooms. I don't know if any of you have done an escape room. I have done 99 escape rooms, and tomorrow I am doing number 100. I am very excited. I am a huge fan of escape rooms. They're a great application of psychology. I have a bunch of shows that I love. I love the holidays. I love to camp. So just to give you a little bit of information about me, the person teaching this class. I also have a background as a therapist. Though I am not a therapist, I am a teacher. I kind of let that go years ago. But that is what I was trained in with a master's in counseling. Okay. Somebody just asked, are the lecture streams? They're a separate thing. You'll see those under week number 1. I don't follow college football. I obsess so much about the NFL that I just can't add another one. Escape rooms are amazing. I love them so much, right? My favorite one was one called Lab Rat, but 60 Out and Maze Rooms are really great companies here. And I've done quite a few of their rooms, so those are fun ones to try. Like I said, I have 4 cats: Squash, Whiskey, Binks, and Rolly. A dog named Oso, and two, oh my gosh, I forgot a child. I have 3 little children, 3 girls as well. A little bit about computer and internet stuff. Someone said the Patriots suck now. I know, they really do. I don't like them anymore. I was a Patriots fan because of Brady. Then I became a Bucks fan. And now I don't know. Now I'm a Mahomes and Kelsey and Cooper Cup. And like I've got players that I like more than teams. Right? Let's see. UCLA football, right? Yeah, there's a lot of great college football teams. I just can't do more than one thing, right? The Lions are on the up, yeah, for sure. But Brady, Gronk, and Edelman, those were the days. I miss them so much. So computer stuff, if you're having problems with your computer or internet settings, here's some suggestions. And then finally, if you need help, you can always reach out to me. There's a college distance education webpage. Here's a Canvas support phone number. If you're struggling with your ordering the ebook, here's a phone number and email that you can reach out to. And if you have issues with accessing the ebook or like with something like an error, here is web support and they can help you with anything related to the ebook. I know that I wrote it, but I don't have power over the ebook site. Web support right here or myself can help get you set up if you're struggling. Yeah, if you lose your Wi-Fi at any point or you get kicked out, you can always come right back in. And again, they're recorded if you can't for some reason. So that is the mandatory orientation. Make sure you read through all of it. And then once you've read through all of that, you can go to the ebook site, which let's go to together now. And you'll take this little 10-point quiz. And I hope most of you have already done this because it's due by tonight, right, at 11:59 p.m. But let's go take a look at the ebook site together and kind of wander through that a little bit. And then we can come back and we'll look at week number 1. And this is where you'll find the lectures. Some of you were asking about that. The lectures, the videos, the discussions. And then under week number 2, you'll see the same thing, and also the exam and study guide. So let's go over to the ebook site and take a quick look at that together. We're getting there, right? We're about halfway through. It feels so late. Sorry for that. Again, normally this will be at like 8 o'clock. And thank you, Mini Wheat. I love that. Thank you for figuring that out. I really appreciate it. Okay, so on the ebook site, make sure that you pick the right section, right? I do have quite a few sections of this class. We are 55502 when you are registering. And when you log into this page, what you'll see here is you probably will get to the welcome page first. There's a little like paragraph here welcoming you. I did make a video kind of going through this class or this website. But what you'll see is that all the resources are up here at the top. Here's the welcome page. All of the chapters for the book are linked right here. There's some additional resources which you don't need to use, but there's some optional kind of help stuff on here if you're interested. The exams are all on here, and there's a little temporary grade book that houses all of the grades that you've earned on this site. Again, they don't come over to Canvas automatically, but I will always bring them over once the deadlines have passed. You don't need to remember that that's the section that you signed up for. So if you're on Canvas, that's what it'll say right here. That is the section number for our class. So when you register your book, hopefully you pick that section number so that you're all, everything all lined up. Okay. So let's look. So the chapters, again, these are the chapters of the book and you can see them listed out here. So let's, for example, click on chapter 2. All right. And again, I did write this, right? It took a lot of time to do. There's a little outline and then some like objectives at the beginning. And then it jumps right into the chapter, right? So there's the summary and then it just gets into the content. You can see there's key terms which are defined at the end. There's images, of course, some little boxes about like side notes and interesting things. There's apply it boxes as well, ways that you can apply this to your life. And then again, it's just a chapter, right? So make sure that you read through all of this. And then at the very end, which you'll always find, we're almost there. Sorry, I'm going through it quickly. At the very end of every chapter, you'll find some in pop culture links. You'll find a link to like a YouTube video that I made that goes with the chapter, and then some application. And then here's all the key terms for that chapter. So again, that is the chapters. Sorry to scroll quickly there. Chapters link. What we're worried about for the moment, let's look at the mandatory orientation quiz. So again, all of your quizzes and exams are taken on here. There's only this one quiz and then 4 exams. It'll always give you the availability and the deadline, right? I'm not sure why they put it as the 18th. It is tonight, but the deadline is tonight, so I will have them change that. The ebook site is run by somebody separately, and they do sometimes make mistakes or have issues, so if that happens, you can always reach out to me. But with every single one, what you'll see is that you have a time frame. So this one's a really short little quiz on the orientation and the syllabus. So you have 15 minutes, you get 1 attempt, you can use your notes, you can use your book, and you have to make sure that you save your answers to everything. So let's take a look at what that looks like together. When you're ready, you'll click Begin Your Attempt, and then it'll pop up with the quiz. Now you'll notice that there's a little clock and it's going to count down on the timing, right? And so you have 15 minutes and it's kind of going down. There's a list of questions. And then what you'll do, right, is you'll answer the questions, right? So let's say you don't know the answer, you can always skip ahead, right? Like if you miss an exam or a discussion, it can be made up the following week. False, right? Remember there are deadlines for everything and you must get them done before then. And then you click Save. When you save it, it's going to turn it like an orange color. This class is entirely online, right? True. And then hit save, right? So you want to make sure that all of them are like that orange gold color before you submit your quiz, right? And you will get a grade right away. So let's say I'm done. Obviously I missed a few, make sure they're all gold or orange, but I've given you 2 freebies here, right? So let's say I'm finished. You're going to submit it, and it will instantly give you a grade. So I got a shameful 2 out of 10. But in all fairness, I only did 2 questions, right? So you'll get a score. You'll see what you got right, what you got wrong. Someone said I logged into the wrong one. I pressed the online version because I thought it was the right one. Did the orientation quiz there. Which book and do the quiz. I'm not 100% sure. I'm assuming that maybe you signed up for the wrong section. If that's the case, what you could do is email that web support. Back on Canvas, remember I had that help right here. Let's go back. Right, all the way in here on that mandatory orientation, on the very last page was that help page. So what you'll want to do is email web support and tell them that you signed up for the wrong section and to transfer you into the right one. And they can go ahead and help you do that very quickly. Okay. And they're really good at getting back at you. It might take about a day, but they're pretty good at getting back to you. And so I would definitely do that. No, you definitely don't have to pay again. It's just getting you transferred into the right section so that I can keep track of your grades and so on. Okay. And then that is the mandatory quiz. Again, it's like 10 questions. It's really brief. Just make sure you do it by tonight at 11:59 p.m. if you haven't already. So get your book. No. Don't freak out. No need to freak out, right? Most everything we can figure out, especially if you reach out to me before the deadline. What you'll see then later, and I'll go over this next week. I know there's a lot of anxiety about exams, and I will spend a lot of time next week going over that. So you'll see that there are the instructions for exams 1 through 4 on here. And again, I'll talk about that quite a bit in week number 2. Let's see, can we tab out to see Canvas orientation? Yeah, right. So I have one here and I have one here. I have a bunch of tabs open. That's definitely fine for you to do. You can have multiple tabs open at the same time. You can even have the book open on one tab and then the exam open on another if you needed to. Okay. So hopefully, again, big things for the moment. If you haven't already, get your copy of the ebook and do that mandatory orientation stuff before midnight tonight, 11:59 p.m. tonight. Read through the syllabus, read through all that stuff. And then once you've completed the mandatory orientation stuff, you're going to start on week number 1, right? And what you will see is that week number 1 and week number 2 are open. Week 3 is not, right? So you can't work ahead, but you do have access to 2 weeks of material at a time. Okay. Would I be dropped tomorrow? Am I still in the class? So if you, as long as you already have purchased the book, you might get an email from me if I don't see it on my end, and you can just respond by telling me what's going on, and I won't drop you. I will definitely give you an opportunity to write me back before just dropping you. Okay. Okay. No, for sure, right? Yeah, and I'm not going to drop people tomorrow, but I do want to make sure that you do complete this. So please do try and get it done before the deadline tonight. And if something comes up, you can always email me. I will be reaching out to anyone who didn't do it probably tomorrow or Thursday, and making sure that if you don't intend to be on the class that you are dropped. Okay. So again, the class is organized by 2 weeks at a time, and every week 2 chapters, 2 discussions. And then usually what you'll see then on the second week, 2 chapters, 2 discussions, and an exam. Okay, so every week the same kind of format. Then what you'll want to do for each chapter are 3 things. Right, you're going to want to read the chapter in the ebook, right? Which remember the chapters are up here. Right, so what you'll want to do, and you can do this in any order that makes sense to you, is you'll read the chapter for the book, you'll read the lecture, and then you'll watch the lecture video. And you'll do the same for chapter 2. Read the chapter, read the lecture, watch the video. And you're going to want to do that before you attempt the discussions, or you won't have the information to be successful. Okay, so we haven't gotten to the discussions yet. We'll get there in a second. So the lectures are the same format as the mandatory orientation one. They have that little 5 tabs at the top. So you'll see objectives and summary, beyond the book, in pop culture, key terms, and application. So the first page is always going to be like, what am I going to learn, and a quick summary. The second page is always going to be beyond the book. So maybe like little videos that I've made or uploaded that I think would be helpful for you. If I give you a video, watch it. If there's a link, click on it, right? All of it together is going to help you understand the materials. The in pop culture page is always going to be like stuff in popular culture, right? There's lots and lots of examples of psychology in pop culture, and I always try to include some of them in each lecture just to kind of link it to things that maybe are in your life. The fourth page is always going to be key terms. These are the terms that you need to know from this chapter on the exam. The study guide is just a collection of these terms for each exam. So if you wanted to study chapter 1 now, you could always work on these terms and then add the ones from chapter 2 when you get there. The final page is application. So here are some things that you could use this information with, right? Like this one's a little bit about degrees and careers. But now that you've read it, how could you apply what you've learned? And so for each one of these lectures, make sure that you click on everything, watch all the videos, explore everything. You can also listen to it if you would rather. And then I've also made a lecture video, and you'll notice there's a little bit of overlap between the two, but that will hopefully only help reinforce the materials. But with these, this is me lecturing to some PowerPoints like I would do in class. You definitely want to pay attention, maybe take some notes on this. These are the things that are going to appear on the exam. So for chapter 1 and 2, you'll do the same thing, right? Read, lecture, video, read, lecture, video. And once you've done that, then you can work on discussion 1 and discussion 2. Here's the extra credit that I will give you at the very end. And then I'll always post a recording of these, and this is where you can find it. So when we're done tonight, I'll start the download and upload process. It might not be until the next day that it's up there. It takes a few hours, but I'll always post a recording, and you can also find it on my channel on Twitch right away if you want to watch it sooner. So quick look at the discussions, and then I'll give you the extra credit, some reminders, and see if you have any other questions for me. And then again, next week, when we do our live stream, we'll talk about chapters 3 and 4, discussions 3 and 4, and I'll talk a lot about that first exam to make sure that you are feeling good about that. So the discussions are worth 15 points apiece. And so if we click on discussion 1, you'll see they follow a similar format every time. They're going to start with some instructions and then a video. Some of them are a little older, like my hair's so short there. And then the prompt. Okay, so every time you'll see the exact same thing. And so what you'll want to do is always watch my little video because I go over the prompt, I give you some examples and some more information. And then you're going to answer all of my questions that are right here, right? And you answer those by hitting the reply button, like you can see AJ did here, and quite a few others, Marissa, and several of you have already done, which is fantastic. Be really detailed in your responses. This is your chance for you to show off your understanding and knowledge of the materials. Think about them almost like little mini papers. It's always better to give me more than not enough. You're also going to read through a minimum of 5 of your classmates' responses and reply to 1 of them. So the discussions are worth 15 points in total, 13 for your responses to my questions, and then 2 for your responses to a peer, which are much, much shorter. I've given you some samples and a rubric right here if you'd like a little more. And again, I would always recommend the videos. They're really short. They're like a minute or 2, but I'm going over the prompt and giving you more information. So here, for example, is the prompt for week discussion number 1. And so once you're ready, what you'll do is you'll hit reply and you'll answer. Right? So AJ went through and answered it, and then you can see that several people replied to AJ, and Marissa answered it, and several people replied to her. So you're going to always want to make sure you get those 2 very easy points by replying to a classmate. So hopefully that answers your question, Israel, about replying to a classmate as well. 15 points. You'll do this twice every week, right? So you have discussion 1, which is on chapter 1, and then discussion 2, which is on chapter 2, right? And this one's about research methods. Again, same thing, you'll hit reply, video, instructions, very consistent format every time in hopes of making it, consistent and understandable. You started your quiz, but you're not ready. I would like to watch a vid. Unfortunately, you can't. You get 1 attempt at the exam, which it says on there. So you can email me and we can talk about that. But once you start your quizzes and exams, you're in it. So make sure that you're ready to go before you hit start, because you get 1 attempt at them. You can use your notes, you can use your book, but you need to make sure that you are ready to go because you only get to do them once. So if I think it's Zara, right? I'm sorry if I said that wrong. With a name like Elisa, my name gets messed up all the time. You can always email me and we can talk about that, but because it's the mandatory quiz. But just make sure that you're always ready before you hit begin. Okay. So for now, if you want to go 1 week at a time, like I'm doing in these live streams, focus on these things. Get the book, do the orientation, And then you can do chapter 1 and 2, discussion 1 and 2. You're welcome to work ahead to next week. Next week, I'll talk about 3, 4, and the exam and kind of go over those things and give you the extra credit for next week. So typically at this point, what I will do is give you a couple of reminders, give you the extra credit question and show you how to answer it. And then I'll see if you have any questions for me. I always end with like 5 minutes of just hanging out and seeing if there are any questions. Are there anything for now before I give you a couple of reminders about this week? I know I talked a lot tonight. This will normally be much, much shorter. It's getting late. I'm sorry about that. Trying to wrap it up here and go to bed. Right? All of us go to bed. You might not be ready yet, but I'm getting close to being ready. Well, I'm waiting to see if you have anything for me. I have 2 reminders for you. Okay, so the first one is please take a moment. I'll give you this reminder every week. Please take a moment if you can, either tonight or tomorrow, try and figure out the subscriptions. So there are 84 of you in the class and 15 people have figured it out. So please, if you can, take some time to do that, right? Go through those instructions I showed you step by step and see if you can link your Prime account to your Twitch account. That way I can just download your name. It saves me time, saves you time, and gives you all those benefits. And again, if you're watching this later, you can still answer the extra credit question if you have subscribed on Twitch. Are the exams all we have to take at this same time? So you take one exam every 2 weeks. So exam number 1 is in weeks 1 and 2. Exam number 2 is in weeks 3 and 4, and so on. Okay? Yeah, and if you can't figure it out or you can't subscribe, I don't want you to spend money on it. I mean, you can, but I'd rather you didn't. And that's totally fine. So you can just put your first name in there and you're joining me live so you can still get credit and do the question. And that's going to happen. That's okay. So that's reminder 1. Make sure that you did that. And that's okay. If you can't, you can't. It's totally fine. It just makes it easier. I'm going to give it to you in just a moment. The second reminder is if you're looking at our calendar or the calendar, our next Twitch live stream will be on Wednesday, June 21st at 8 o'clock p.m. Okay, so our next live stream will be on Wednesday next week at 8 o'clock p.m. And I have those in the calendar on the homepage, right? So if you look at the calendar for our class, you can always see those on the calendar. It'll give that to you if you scroll down. Here it is here, or you can click on the calendar on the left. I also announce them every week in the announcements. The other thing that I will do, obviously in a moment here, is I will give you that extra credit question. You got a little confused, just make sure everything is due every 2 weeks, and it will be 2 chapters in total at that time. And for the lectures, okay, so you're close. 4 chapters, right? Thank you. I love it that you're replying for me. Thank you so much, right? You're excited for the question. You're like, please give it to me. I'm ready for bed. We're almost there, I promise. So if you click on modules, right, you'll notice right now that only weeks 1 and 2 are open, right? So everything that's under week 1 and week 2 is due by that Sunday night, the 25th. And the study guide is right underneath the exam link. So it's right here. And again, I will go over that next week. Okay, I'm trying to keep it a little bit shorter this week rather than go over that as well. But I will spend lots of time on that next week. Okay, so, but that's where you can find it. It's right under the exam link right here. And then there's always a little checklist at the end of each 2 weeks. If you want to just make sure that you've done everything, it is there. Or you can look at the syllabus, which also tells you, or the email reminder that I send out every Monday. Lots of opportunities to make sure that you have everything complete. Okay, so last thing, right, let's do the extra credit. So I typed these out ahead of time just so I can save the time. So the extra credit question for this week, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Right, so this is the week number 1. Of course, no worries, and that's why I'm here, right? I know it's a little confusing. Everybody does things differently. And again, it's very consistent. So hopefully what you will see is you'll start to fall into that rhythm and it'll make sense. So the week number 1 extra credit question, I'm posting it now. What does the phrase correlation versus causation mean? Describe and give an example. So it's here in the chat. What does the phrase correlation versus causation mean? Describe and give an example. So in order to get credit for that, 2 things. You either join me live like you're doing right now, write your name in the chat to show me that you're here, or if you're subscribed, you don't have to. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go onto Canvas And we're in week 1, so you click on optional Twitch extra credit number 1. And it's going to give you a reminder, right, of everything you need to do. If you're watching this later as a recording and you are subscribed, you can still do this to earn the extra credit because I can see that you watched it. Up at the top, you click on Start Assignment. And that's going to bring up this little text box where you can type your answer. Okay? And then once you've typed out your whole answer, yes, and it has to be correct. That is true. So I do grade these throughout the week. If you get it completely wrong and I grade it early, I will let you know and you can always try again. So yes, make sure that it's correct, right? So hopefully you do these after you've read the materials. They're not going to be difficult questions. They should be things you can answer pretty easily. But yes, you do want to make sure it's correct as well. So technically, I suppose 3 things. You join me, you answer the question, and you answer it correctly. Okay. The answers are in the textbook, the lecture, the reading, right? So when you're going through the reading and the lecture, you'll find that eventually. It's a huge concept every time. There's a whole video on that one for sure. So it should be something that you, yep. So don't post it here, Ryan. That's a great answer, right? And that's an excellent example that I talked about, but you'll want to post it here on Canvas in order to get those points, right? Oh, no, it's okay. I love that you were on it. And you know what? You're correct, right? You're definitely on the right track. So that's great. So once you type your answer here in the box, right? So optional Twitch extra credit 1, type your answer and hit submit. It's going to give you like a little confetti burst and pandas riding a unicycle. That's so odd, right? And this is due right by Sunday the 25th at 11:59 p.m., right? It's by the end of the 2 weeks. So if you're under week number 1, yeah, you can use outside, so you shouldn't need to. It's all in the textbook and lecture. It's always going to be a major concept that you can find pretty easily from that week. And again, under each week is where you will find it. So we're in week 1. So here's optional Twitch extra credit 1. It says 0 points because it's extra credit, but it's worth 2 points, right? It is a chapter 2 question, right? So chapters 1 and 2 are part of week 1. So it is from chapter 2. Yep. You've got it, right? Research methods, it's from that chapter. Definitely. Psychology as a science. So when you're ready, you'll click on optional extra credit number 1. And then again, up at the top, you'll hit start attempt. I've already answered it, so it says new attempt. Right? Thanks for the answer, Ryan, right? I love that name, Mini Wheat. That's funny. Definitely give me your own answer, but you can use Ryan's answer as inspiration. That's totally, totally fine. So big things for the moment. Okay, get your copy of the textbook if you haven't already. Complete the mandatory orientation quiz on the ebook site so that you satisfy that requirement. And then once you've done that, start on week number 1, right? And you're welcome to do week 2, but I'm going to focus on week 2 in the week 2 live stream. So for this week, focus on chapters 1 and 2, discussions 1 and 2, and then you can do that extra credit question. And if you don't have time this week, you can do all of week 1 next week because you have 2 weeks of material at a time. Okay, so that is everything that I wanted to cover this evening. What I will do is I'll hang out for about 5 minutes or so, about 5 to 7 minutes. If you have any other questions that you want me to go over, if you're confused about anything else, I'm happy to answer them. And then I'll close it up and I'll start that upload, download process. And you'll see the recording will be posted right here, most likely tomorrow morning because it takes at least like an hour or 2 typically to do that. Okay, so I hope you're all feeling good about the class. We have 8 weeks together. You'll see me every week, either in video or live. If you ever have questions, please feel free to email me. I typically will get back to you within a few hours, maybe a little bit longer if it's like an evening or weekend. If you email me at 2 in the morning, I'm probably sleeping, right? But I will get back to you the following day. And so please reach out if you're confused. Good luck. I hope that everything makes sense to you. And again, if you ever need help, I am here. I went to Humboldt State University, which I know has a reputation for greenery. I went there because it's so pretty. I love the trees and the rain. But I went to Humboldt State and got my master's in counseling psychology. And I was trained as a therapist before moving on to teaching, which I love so much more because it's so much more lighthearted. And I can talk about food and football and all sorts of fun things as well. Yeah, I'm a huge, really into camping and being outside and surfing, though I don't do it now that I have kids. I haven't been in a while, but I love to camp and looking forward to that. I'm going up to Lake Arrowhead in like a week or 2 to camp, so I'm excited for that. Counting down the days. You can get the extra credit, and so you are subscribed. I can see that you have the little football cake next to your name. So if you watch it as a recording, you can still get the credit by answering the question. So that's fine. Yep, I did Psych for sure when I was in college, right? It's good to have any of those honor societies or clubs always look good on applications. So I definitely did that when I was in college, for sure. Okay. So if you don't have any questions, we are officially done. You're welcome to go ahead and log off, which several of you have done at this point. And if you do have questions, like I said, I'll hang out for a few more minutes. I typically will minimize my video at this point just so that I'm not staring at myself, but I will hang out. Yeah, surfing is a lot of fun. Sharks scare me too, especially right now. There's something going on with the sharks. They've been more shark attacks than ever. So I don't know if it's the right time to pick up surfing. But your odds in Hawaii, they told us our odds of getting hit by a coconut are 50 times higher than getting bitten by a shark. So I don't know, whatever, take that for what you will, right? But thank you as well. Thank you so much for all of you who joined me live. I will see you next Wednesday. Get going on all the materials. I am going to minimize my video just so that I'm not staring at myself, but I am still here if you have any questions. Well, let's see. You're welcome. Thank you. And thank you for saying that it's intuitive and everything's organized. I'm glad that you feel good. And again, if you ever feel confused, there's so many resources on there that I've created for you. Hopefully that will help. Yeah, hit by a car than a shark. You have a greater chance of choking on a pretzel than getting bit by a shark, right? But sharks are way scarier than pretzels. I agree. Let's see. Yes, great. So yeah, get that section changed tomorrow. And then what will happen? I won't drop you. I've already made a note about it. But if you get an email from me tomorrow, just respond back. I won't drop you tomorrow, right? You won't be dropped like first thing in the morning. So just go ahead and email me back and you'll be fine. Okay. Thank you all as well. Yep, you're all set and just do it, right? Surfing is a lot of fun. It's a little scary, but it's a lot of fun, right? For sure. Okay, I'm going to minimize this, but I will hang out for a few more minutes if you have any questions. Otherwise, have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful week. And I will see you all next week for our week number 2 live stream. And I will go over that exam quite a bit for those of you who are nervous about it. I am still here. Like I said, if you have any questions, I'll hang out for a few more minutes before I log off. Perfect. I'm glad you're feeling good. Good night. See you next week. It totally gets lonely, right? It's hard staring at a blank screen, but I'm glad that you're here. It's great that you're all chatting with each other. I love it. Thank you so much. See you next week. All right, everyone, there's only a couple of you left, and it seems like everyone's doing okay. So I'm going to wrap this up. Yeah, unless you have a quick question, Israel. Otherwise, I'm about to close this up. What's up? Yeah, go ahead. I don't have access to that on my end. It should be there. So if you go to the page, right, where you are purchasing the book, right? So let's see, let me go back and get that link. So if you go to purchasing the book, there should be an option for this. So right, if you click on textbook information and then click on ebook purchase link right here, right? So then what you're going to do is you're going to purchase a copy of it and then you go through all the steps of registering it. So I don't have the ability to do that on my end. It says what your institution is more park. Did you click on the link that I provided for you? Okay, good. Okay, good. I'm glad you found it. I'm like, it should be there. It's definitely there. A lot of people have purchased it. And then you're just going to follow the steps to purchase it and register it. And then you should be all set. And then remember that our section is 55502, right? Which I put in the chat. And that's the one that you're going to want to pick so that everything is all linked up and perfect. You too. See you next week.